hire or train unemployed veterans or their spouses by the end of 2013. And that begins with connecting our veterans with employers looking to hire.
And we're not going to stop until we find a way to serve and support every single military family in America.
Go to iHeartRadio.com/showyourstripes to learn more and share your story. Hire smart. Hire vets. Powered by Military.com and Monster.com.
Brandon Rhymes here. Catch the Real Estate Quarterback Show.
This report brought to you by Garmin. Hate traffic? Don't hate. Drive happy. Get a Garmin Nuvi with subscription-free HD digital traffic and avoid traffic and construction delays with updates delivered as often as every 30 seconds. Drive with Garmin, the most trusted name in GPS.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center on southbound 275, they cleared the earlier accident approaching Himes. Still have heavy traffic westbound on I-4 from 22nd Street to 275. Still have the left lane blocked with an accident eastbound on I-4 east of 22nd Street. Lots of extra traffic in Tarpon Springs today because of the Epiphany celebration. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick Hillsborough traffic tip line at 866-545-9595.
12:50 winds, weather center forecast. The cold front is now making its way into the Bay Area. We'll see those temperatures drop throughout the afternoon. We already saw the high for today, and but into the 70s at some point. But now those are going to drop. We'll also see those lows tonight down into the lower 30s, upper 40s, near 50 for high tomorrow, and then low 30s once again. We'll bounce into the mid 60s on Wednesday. Join us at WHNZ.com to stream us live online. 1250 wins, WHNZ.
The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the following program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, Clear Channel Communications Incorporated.
This is the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show on 1250 wins, WHNZ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. You're listening to 1250 Wins, WHNZ. And this show used to be on Thursdays at 5, but this is my new show time, first time in this spot. So this show now will be on every Monday at noon. So please make a note of the schedule change. And also, the show will also be rebroadcast this week on 970 WFLA as well. So if you're listening this week, we'll be on at 5 a.m. This week on a rebroadcast as well. So if you're just tuning into my show for the first time, I've been on air since about September, and I'm a real estate foreclosure sales expert in the Tampa Bay region and sold a lot of foreclosures and other real estate as well in the past 7 years. And, my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, my website's tampabayradio.com. That's my show page. And my website, tampabayreo.com, is where you'll find all my foreclosure listings as well as upcoming foreclosure listings as well. And phone number, you can get me off air, 813-760-8516. And if you text value to that number, I offer all my listeners a free home valuation. Again, if you just text the word value to 813-760-8516. In studio today is another real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Residential, and one of my, I call her one of my biggest fans, actually, and she's also my protege, I would say. So Stella Giudicelli is in the office today. Stella, say hi to everybody.
Yes, hi, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be speaking, actually, on the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. It's true, I've been here in the studio with you a lot, but just as a fan and not talking, so... thank you for allowing me to be here with you, and good afternoon to our listeners, and very happy New Year to all.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, we are in the new year, and how was your new year? Mine was pretty uneventful. I ended up going to sleep prior to the ball dropping.
Right, I actually went to 3 parties myself to make sure I was celebrating the right way.
Yeah, well, I've gotten older now, so I always say there's a bunch of amateurs out on New Year's, and I tend to stay home where it's safe in my bed and don't worry about any dangers or anything like that. So
you start the new year rested. That's a good thing.
Absolutely. So Stella, tell us a little bit. I want the audience to get to know you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your career so far.
Right. So I guess what's different about my career is the international aspect of it. I have lived in places such as Hong Kong. I've worked for banks in London, in the UK before for 2.5 years. And I was a business international consultant. until actually one day, and if I remember well, it was a rainy day. I was approached and I was asked if I could please move to sunny Florida to assist with the opening of the U.S. branch. So, Jamie, please be here with me and sympathize on how difficult that was to make a decision.
You moved from what location was that?
From London.
From London.
The UK. And I was asked to move to Orlando.
And what was the field of finance that you were in prior to this?
It was currency exchange. International currency exchange and wire transfers.
Interesting. And how long had you been doing that?
So 8 years.
8 years.
It's been 8 years. So when they asked, I have to say it was a pretty decision to make. It took me a good second to give a big yes. And I found myself in Orlando, Florida. So I was in charge of the business development of the branch for 8 years. But one of my other responsibilities consisted in facilitating real estate transactions for foreign national clients buying properties here in Florida and in the U.S. Today, I am a real estate agent at the Coldwell Banker office with Jamie. And actually, most of my clients are Americans, or should I say buyers and sellers who reside in America and have requirements in buying a property as a residence or as an investment. And by now, if you're still wondering where this accent is from, it's an accent from France. And actually, much better than that, it's an accent that is from the nicest part in France, and that is...
Nice?
Yes.
Nice, yes. Okay.
Nice, on the French Riviera. Have you been there, Jamie, before?
No, I've barely been out of the United States, so I'm not much of an international traveler. So would love to be there, but no, I've not.
Yeah, we'll have to go.
So, you're from... how long have you been in the States?
Well, I've been here for 8 years now.
8 years. Okay, so when you left London is when you came to the States for the first time then?
I've been a student at the University of North Carolina before. I had worked in California, so it wasn't a first for me. And I was very happy, actually.
Did you know English before you came to the States, or did you learn it here, or how did that come about?
I've learned it at school, and as much as I could go overseas, I had been. And I lived in London for 3 years too. So when I arrived here, I could speak some English.
Well, you speak it very well. I compliment you on that. And to all my listeners out there, she is a real estate agent in my office and is a French-speaking real estate agent. And, work can help your international clients, to the realtors out there and buyers who are, overseas investors who have, connections with people in France. I invite you to reach out to us. You can find me and her on TampaBayRadio.com, or you can just reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with her, 813-760-8516. So, Stella, tell me a little bit about your hobbies. What do you like to do?
Well, what really excites me is to volunteer and to give. So I'm very involved with the Children's Cancer Center. We recently have organized One Women and Shoes in November, and we're having the third annual Charity Polo Classic on February 22nd. And I am also the chair for the Super Women Built for Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, they're one of the contributors in my show. So
right,
yes.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Jamie. And we are raising $85,000 to build a cozy home for a family and give them access to the financial stability of home ownership. And what most people don't know about Habitat for Humanity is that we don't actually give the home to people. They have to provide 300 sweat hours. Is that how you say?
Yeah. Sweat equity, where they actually put in their time and effort into the property.
To build their home and also to build the home of someone else. And they have a mortgage. So they have to pay back the $85,000. The good thing, though, is that there's no interest on that mortgage, so that's really the benefit. And what I like about this is really the legacy. We're raising money, and this money is going to, as it's being paid off by the homeowner, it's going to go ahead and we're going to pay for another home. So it just never stops.
Interesting. And how do the people around the community, they can get involved in this process as well if they want to put in their own time and hours into this process? How would they get involved with Habitat?
Well, I guess they can call you or they can call me, be in contact with us. And
Habitat Hillsborough is their website. HabitatHillsborough.com is the website.
Correct.
And yes, they can get in touch with me off the air, as I do have a couple of the members of the the organization that are regular contributors onto this radio show.
Right.
So they are my philanthropic sponsor of my show. So I do invite you to get in touch with myself. If you have any interest in volunteering, I would highly recommend to get involved with the community and network with a lot of the professionals that are involved in the organization as well. So tell me, I see you doing a lot of this green juice parties, and you won a green juice contest. What is all this stuff about?
So, Jamie, I'm actually surprised you're asking me about it because I know you are not fond of the vegetable juices.
No.
But keep in mind that I'm still on a mission to convert you to it. I organize events, and there's really for no financial gains. It's really about having fun around a healthy lifestyle. And for some reasons, it's not always fun to make the healthy choice. So that's why we do those events. And also we teach the newbies on how to green juice. The first event, we organized a contest of the best vegetable juice. So I happened to win. So now there's the Stella Bella cream cycle juice at Fruitwood.
Fruitwood, and that location is over on Swan Avenue at the corner of Howard and Swan. They are right next to the Coldwell Banker office, and I didn't even know you had done that. I was in there the other day getting a pizza, and I saw some that said Stella Bella juice, and I was like, that's got to be related to her. So how did you come up with that? Where did you just mix up some stuff one day?
I just happened to made it one day with something I had in my fridge, and it turned out very good. So when we had the contest, I was actually not supposed to participate because I wanted the other people to win, and everyone enrolled me into it, and that's the recipe that I elected. I think because it's made with sweet potato, it was quite different, and people liked it. But really, green juice to me is really the key to health. And I don't like fruits and vegetables. I love vegetable juices. And when you think about it, when you start juicing, you have that big bowl of vegetable and fruits. And if you had to chew all of that, it would take you the day. And you take this, you put it in the juicer, and it ends up in a glass. And in that glass, you have all of the enzymes and vitamins that your body needs on a daily basis. And that's really the beauty of it.
And you've organized groups through Facebook. I see you doing. You put out your little parties and your events, and I'm surprised at how many people actually respond to it. I myself would run from something like that, but I mean, you do have a lot of people that you kind of get together and you all do this, and you kind of act as a support group for it as well. Correct?
Yeah, it really makes my day when I hear people have an interest in becoming healthier, and I actually have them coming back to me and say, I can't leave the house in the morning because my husband wanted his green juice, and how my kids love the green juices. So when people come back to me with feedbacks like that, it really makes my day. And it is true that I found that people are waking up to wanting to be healthier.
That's interesting. Yeah, you've definitely tried to get me on the bandwagon for some time. And I'm a carnivore. I definitely have to have my meats and my sodas every single day, and the stress of this business drives me to want that stuff even more. So
as we are on the radio, would you commit to anything with us today around being healthier?
Not yet. I got another agent who's on my show here, Christina Griffin, who is supposed to be committing me to a workout plan this year as well. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ. This show's on every Monday at noon. If you're just tuning in, my show used to be on Thursdays at 5, but this is a transition to a new time. So again, every Monday at noon. And you can get me off air at my website, which is tampabayradio.com, or 813-760-8516. Back in a moment. Hi, Jamie Meloni here, your host of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, featured every Thursday at 5 p.m. here on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ. The goal of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show is to be your source of real estate information in the Tampa Bay market. I've been in business for 7 years now and have sold nearly 1,000 homes in and around the Tampa Bay market. I work with 45 different banks and asset management companies selling foreclosed properties, and have extensive knowledge on buying these foreclosed properties, and want to help you understand opportunities in the marketplace, as well as common pitfalls I see many buyers as well as realtors make each and every day. I'm excited about this new show and being able to share my experiences and knowledge, as well as my contacts with you, my audience. Each week, the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show will feature information on the real estate market you need to know to position yourself as an educated player in the business, as well as feature real estate professionals from around the Tampa Bay region. You'll hear a lot about HUD government-owned properties, as well as Fannie Mae-owned properties and the different programs they have available to help make you a homeowner. My show aims to promote home ownership as well as responsible real estate investing and will highlight real estate success stories from in and around the region. If you'd like to be part of the show or have a real estate success story you'd like me to highlight on the air, or if you have general questions you'd like me to discuss on air, I invite you to reach out to me at tampabayradio.com. Just fill out the contact form or email me and give me a call at 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. I or one of my assistants will be in touch with you to discuss your real estate needs. Please don't hesitate to contact me. The real estate market is a fast-paced, constantly changing arena, and my show is your source of what you need to know to come out ahead. Again, reach out to me at tampabayradio.com or 813-760-8516. I invite all real estate professionals that are interested in promoting their business and expertise on air to please reach out to me. Show contributor openings are available and will fill up fast. Whether you are involved in lending, title, building, sales, basically anything tied to the housing market, I want to hear from you. Become part of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show and grow your business with mine on air. Again, I've been in business 7 years and have sold nearly 1,000 homes in the Tampa Bay region, and I can help you position yourself as an industry leader. Take a moment to visit my website at tampabayradio.com and be sure to like my Facebook page at facebook.com/Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show to keep up to date with show developments each and every week. Thanks for tuning in.
Since opening its doors 120 years ago, Stewart Title Company has established a lasting legacy of providing professional title services. Even other title insurance companies know Stewart Title Company because they do their actual underwriting for them. Stewart is here to provide a wide range of resources to help improve any real estate transaction. To learn more about protecting yourself against hidden title hazards that may threaten your financial investment, call Melissa Stoddard at 813-431-8025. That's 813-431-8025.
Are you looking for a deal on a foreclosed property? If so, please stop by my website, tampabayreo.com. My team and I work with 45 different bank and asset management company sellers and have hundreds of foreclosure listings in the area, and we are a HUD and Fannie Mae listing office as well. In addition, get a sneak peek at many of our pre-listed properties in the upcoming REO properties section. Let our experience help you get a deal today. Visit tampabayreo.com.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. You're tuned in to 1250 WHNZ, and this show is on every Monday at noon. That's a change from my prior show time, which was Thursdays at 5, so please make note of that change. And also this week, my show is going to be rebroadcasted on WFLA 970 at 5 a.m. So if you're listening at that time, this is a rebroadcast of that show. My show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, you can get me at my websites, which are tampabayradio.com. That's my show page. And my foreclosure webpage is tampabayreo.com. And text the word value to 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. And I offer all my listeners a free home valuation. And that's my cell phone. So if you want to text that over to me, I'll get you a free home valuation. And you might be surprised as to what your home is worth, as we've seen values in the Tampa Bay region come up, between 10 to 20% in some of the areas just this year. And if you've bought in since the probably the low point in pricing, which is around 2008, 2009 in the area, your values have come up quite substantially in some of the communities. If you're just tuning in the first segment of the show, we're talking with my co-host, Stella Giudicelli, a fellow real estate agent at Coldwell Banker, and we kind of learned a little bit about her. And but in this segment, she's going to ask me a little bit more about what I do. So, Stella, you had some questions for me?
So, Mr. Meloni, you usually have guests on the show, and today we are reversing the roles, and you are going to be my special guest.
You're trying to take over my show now?
Absolutely. And I'm going to be the one asking questions. So you ready for it?
Sure. What do you got for me?
Very good. So let me start with this. How long have you had the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show for now?
Since September of last year. So I've done about 18 shows or so to date. So.
Okay, I see. And so this opportunity came to you because you are a reference and an industry leader in the sale of distressed properties, also called foreclosures or also called REO in the Tampa Bay region. And you are a preferred listing agent for many banks and governmental servicing entities. So how many foreclosures have you sold altogether?
Oh, I'm coming up on about 1,000 myself. And then the team, the other agents that I support and work with in the group, you can probably add another 1,500 to that. So myself about 1,000, and the rest of the team about 1,500.
I see. And so, how many foreclosures did you sell in 2013?
About 150, I think, between 150 and 170.
Okay. How long have you been a real estate agent for?
6.5 years. I started. I actually got licensed in 2006 while I was still going back to USF, University of South Florida. Although I didn't do much in that first year, I started taking it more seriously in 2007. So I started this office in April of 2007. So I've been doing it ever since.
And so it's been quite an accomplishment. And I understand you've been in the ranking of the Wall Street Journal.
Yes, 2012, I was number 97 on the Wall Street Journal list, top agents across the country. And the year before that, I was in the 70s. So, yeah, I consistently place on that list every year.
Very good. So if you can clarify this for me, in the foreclosure business, you have actors that are called Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD. Can you explain what's the difference between those entities?
Well, basically, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, in terms of what they do, are virtually the same thing. They have virtually the same business model. When a buyer goes to a lender, such as a Bank of America or Chase, and they originate the loan is then sold on the secondary markets. Most banks do not keep their loans in-house. And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are government-sponsored entities that basically add liquidity to the mortgage markets. They purchase these mortgages from the banks and lending institutions, and then thus replenishing the warehouse line of the banks, and allows them to continue to make more loans, and they make their money off of the origination fees, and then the sale of the present value of the money.
So let me ask you this: how does it work with foreclosures? Is that because they bought those mortgages in the past, and now they find themselves with?
Well, what happened was, they securitized the mortgages, and then they sell them on Wall Street as mortgage-backed securities to investors. And, in the run-up in housing values in the early 2000s, coupled with, in my opinion, 9/11, when a lot of money left the stock market and a lot of people were looking for, places to put their money in housing, benefited greatly from that transition in capital. And, so there was strong demand from investors on Wall Street for more and more mortgage-backed securities, and that eased lending guidelines substantially. And yes, they, offer a government guarantee, on these securities, and then lending institutions made more and more loans because they knew that the secondary market participants were always going to be there to buy their mortgages. And the guidelines for, repurchase of these mortgages by these entities was relaxed during this time. And that fueled the housing crisis and led to the foreclosure, turmoil that we've experienced, over the last, several years.
Right. What about HUD?
HUD is the Department of Housing and Urban Development. It, too, is a government organization. Within the realm, it's a very involved agency. But when we're talking about what are HUD foreclosed properties, when a buyer goes to a bank and gets a loan, the HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, insures the mortgage, and whereby instead of a lender requiring, say, 10 to 20% down, which is a standard, conventional loan, they will then be able to just put 3.5% down, and the government, which is, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, insures that mortgage. So if the borrower defaults, it's basically like filing an insurance claim. They go to HUD, they file the insurance claim, and then they are then reimbursed by HUD, and then HUD acquires the property, and then they're sold on the market by HUD.
Okay, so if I follow you well, HUD is not a buyer of mortgages, it insures loans, and is ending up with foreclosures as well.
Correct. And altogether, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they make up about 50% of the secondary market. They're a very, major participant in that market. There's tens of thousands of different, secondary market participants, different investors from just private, people who invest in a couple mortgages to larger investment groups, all the way up to the big players in the game, which are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
And as you're selling so many foreclosures, who do you see are buying those foreclosures?
They're the government agents, government servicing entities really cater to the homeowner buyers. They have restrictions in place that kind of block out the investor buyers. So we see a lot of homeowners. They offer special financing and incentives to get people into these homes. A lot of them end up getting repaired and fixed up. So it's not just investors. We also see the homeowners. But you also got to think when a property is foreclosed, it's got to go through the auction process. So it's a lot of investors will pick these things up at the auction, and they never come into my inventory at that point. And so, it's really a mixture. The investors are more involved at the auction, and then really once they hit the market, you see more of the homeowners involved.
Can you tell me quickly about this? I found that when investors come to me to buy foreclosures with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they are not really aware of the restrictions to investors. So can you tell us briefly what those are? Yeah,
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac does not allow investor buyers for the first 20 days on market, and HUD does not allow investor buyers for the first 15 days on market on FHA insured sales and 5 on FHA uninsured sales. We'll get more back into this here after the break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking more with myself and Stella Giudicelli on the foreclosure markets in the Tampa Bay region.
Introducing An American Story with Tom Brokaw. Award-winning journalist and author Tom Brokaw covers newsworthy current events, historic figures, and notable moments in history that impact the lives of Americans today.
Let's hear it for the old folks who are aging well. 2 of the best film performances of the year, Robert Redford and Bruce Dern. In the music world, Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger came to America almost 50 years ago, still going strong. In New York City, if you want to light up an evening, get Tony Bennett, now 87. I recently spent time with John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. He's 92. Barbara Walters is 84, and this year she is interviewing Miley Cyrus, the young exhibitionist singer who's just 21, as one of her fascinating people. Maybe Cyrus will learn something about growing old gracefully. I think we can all agree she's got a lot to learn. I'm Tom Brokaw. This is An American Story.
This report brought to you by Garmin. Hate traffic? Don't hate. Drive happy. Get a Garmin Nuvi with subscription-free HD digital traffic and avoid traffic and construction delays with updates delivered as often as every 30 seconds. Drive with Garmin, the most trusted name in GPS.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, authorities are still on scene of a crash along eastbound I-4 east of the 275 interchange near the Selman connector. It does have the left lane blocked, although traffic is getting by delay-free. Watch for a wreck reported along Hillsborough Avenue at 50th Street, and watch for a crash in Pinellas County along 31st Street at 3rd Avenue North. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
1250 winds, Weather Center forecast. Cold afternoon will continue. We'll see those temperatures tonight in the lower 30s. Tomorrow high in the mid-upper 40s, and then low back down into the low 30s. Start to warm up by mid to end of the week. 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. My show is on every Monday at noon, which is a change from my prior show time, which was every Thursday at 5. So please make note of that change if you're a regular listener to my show. And also, if you're listening to me this week on 970 WFLA, this is a rebroadcast of that show, and I invite you over to my regular show time again, which is Mondays at noon. My show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate markets. Off air, you can get me at my websites, which are tampabayradio.com, and my listings are all found at tampabayreo.com, including my upcoming listings. These properties are assigned to myself and other foreclosure agents weeks, sometimes months in advance of ever hitting the actual MLS or the market. And so I invite you to check out that page right there under upcoming listings, and you can get a jump on getting your due diligence done. And if you see of anything that interests you, I invite you to reach out to me, 813-760-8516, and text the word value to that number, and I offer all my listeners a free home valuation. Again, 813-760-8516. Also, do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then I highly recommend that you let Impoluto Pristine housekeeping professionals do the hard work for you so that you can focus on the important things or just relax. Reach out to Esther, area code 646-464-4889. Again, 646-464-4889. Or send a text for a quote, or you can email her at esther@impolutoservices.com, and Esther is spelled ESTHER at impolutoservices.com, or you can reach out to me via my website. Again, I have a contact form there. People can get in touch with me at tampabayradio.com, and I can put you in touch with her as well. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking in studio with my guest, Stella Giudicelli. She's a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and we've also been talking about, again, the foreclosure markets. And, I want to continue this segment with some more stuff, some more questions from you as well.
Yes, so we have seen a lot of cash buyers in those recent years. And the question I have for you now is how easy is it to obtain a loan for a buyer to acquire foreclosure?
That's actually a great question. One of the main things you need to remember with a foreclosed property is that they're an as-is sale. And when a borrower goes to purchase a piece of real estate, not only do they have to qualify for the loan, the property itself has to qualify for the collateral. And where this comes into play is that a foreclosure is... it's not a well-maintained home. The person has been unable to make mortgage payments for some time. So if they're not making the mortgage payments, they're not keeping up on the property. So things start to deteriorate. Roof leaks, broken windows if they've abandoned the property, which does happen in many of the situations. And so when an appraiser goes out to the property when you've made a loan application on a property, and depending on the type of loan that it is, if it doesn't meet certain health and safety standards, they're going to require that those repairs be completed prior to the close of the escrow. And with the banks, they are as is. It's take it or leave it. And
so the banks will not do the repairs?
No, not necessarily. It depends. You got to know the bank. So this is where it is very important that you as the buyer communicate with your agent, or, if you're dealing with the foreclosure broker directly, and ask them, if we run into any type of repair situation, what's the situation going to look like? For instance, Fannie Mae, one of our big clients, they often work with buyers. They do a lot of upfront repairs prior to marketing of the property. They will go in and rehab some of the properties, but once they are put on the market for sale, it's an as-is sale. So if an appraiser comes along and identifies something new, it's technically, not, something that the seller is going to work on.
Okay, that's good to know.
But Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they do work with borrowers. They are government-sponsored entities and really want to promote home ownership within the community. So they do work with borrowers. Other investors, I can tell you HUD, for instance, they do not do any repairs. If you hit anything as simple as, patch over a drywall hole, the deal is dead, because one, the lender is not going to require a borrower to go in and do any type of repairs to a property prior to close, and due to liability reasons, and they're not going to do the repair. So that's why I always advise buyers of HUD properties to utilize FHA financing, because the properties are appraised prior to going on the market, and if they go to HUDHomestore.com, they can see any lender-required repairs, and FHA financing on HUD properties allows for these repairs to be done after closing. So that's a special segment of the foreclosure market right there that you don't see with the other banks. The other properties are not appraised prior to going on the market, because this is where your repairs come from. Prior to making an application, a lender has no idea what it is that you're buying, And so when the appraiser goes in there and he knows what type of criteria this lender is looking for, they will make a punch list of needed repairs to bring it up to, minimum standards for that lender.
I see. And when people hear foreclosure, they think good deal. I have in mind, and I had in mind in the past that foreclosures were mainly low price ranges. Where are we at with that? What do you see?
No, I mean, you see foreclosed properties really all over the price points. I would say in our region, and this, I can't speak for other regions. I'm just a Tampa Bay real estate agent. But yeah, I mean, the bulk of it is $100,000 and under. But I've had them all the way up to $1 million. And but then again, our price points generally don't get much above the 1 to 2 million, and at that point, you don't generally going to have foreclosures. People have the funds, even if their property values have dropped, they have the funds to buy themselves out of being upside down. So your foreclosures are going to generally stay probably 200,000 and under, because that's where your first time buyers tend to focus, and there's the people without the excess cash reserves to buy themselves out of the an upside down situation. But you have them across all price ranges. Some people don't want to put in to basically buy themselves out of an upside down position if they have if the property has lost value. They would just as soon walk away from it. Yeah, it damages their credit, but if they already have weak credit to begin with, then there's really it's a strategic move just to walk away from it. So we do see that. At times, I wouldn't say it's really a problem in this area, but it does happen.
Mm-hmm. For our buyers, is there really good deals to be made in foreclosures today? How do foreclosures compare to standard sales?
Right now, foreclosures tend to have maybe about a 5 to 10% discount off of a fair market value, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're as is, and there's going to be some other needed repairs that you're probably not going to be aware of just from walking the property. We as real estate agents disclose all that we know about a given property, but we don't have inspection reports, with some exceptions. Some banks do, or some investors do some inspections on a property up front. But you really don't know what's wrong with these properties, so they're discounted for that reason. So you may be getting a price what you believe is fair market value, but you may find some things wrong with it after the fact. So it's very important to make sure that you conduct a home inspection, on these properties, or any property for that matter, but very much so with foreclosed properties and specifically.
Mm-hmm. When we hear short sale, we also hear good deal. So can you tell us how short sale compare to foreclosures? What's the difference? Where should the best deal be?
Well, the primary difference between a short sale and a foreclosure, the short sale is still owned by the mortgagor, the borrower, whereas a foreclosure has went through the foreclosure process, through the auction, and is now owned by the lender. So with a short sale, you're dealing with a purchaser in a short payoff situation, and the rule of thumb is that the properties have to be priced at fair market value, because when you get an offer on a property, the lender, if you're making an application to have the payoff for the lender to accept the reduced payoff based on the diminished value, they are going to order an appraisal or a BPO, a broker price opinion, whereby they see what the fair market value is. So in the beginning, when all this stuff started coming to the market in 2009, 2010, a lot of agents thought they were being sneaky by putting a $150,000 property on the market for $80,000, and they would get offers on it. But the lender is going to order a broker price opinion, and they're going to see that the property is worth $150,000 roughly. And then the deal would just die. They would say, no, this offer is unrealistic. And so that practice, waned over the last few years, and the properties are put on the market pretty much at, fair market value. They tend to price them a little bit under the competition just to attract a little bit of attention. But really, I would say, short sales are priced in line with, what the general fair market value of a competing property is right now.
What about the actual process?
The process, and I'm not a short sale agent, I deal with the foreclosures, and the process is going to vary depending on your lender, but it involves, basically communication. That's the key point when dealing with a short sale. You have to be open to, getting all the documents that are requested from you in order, dealing with multiple requests. That's a common complaint amongst short sale processors, to get the documents and send them to the lender over and over again.
So is there, I've seen people going into short sale and it doesn't go through. Is there more chances to close a foreclosure than there is to close a short sale?
Yes. I mean, with a foreclosure, you just got two parties involved. You got the buyer and the seller. With a short sale, you got three parties involved. You got your buyer, your seller, and then your lender. Mm-hmm. So yes, with a foreclosure, given that you don't hit a title problem, which I've spoke of many times on my show, we do run into legal issues with the foreclosure process. They're all fixable, but they can take some time to resolve. But with a short sale, yes, you do have to basically petition the lender for to take a reduced payoff, and that doesn't always occur.
I see. Can you tell us, as you deal with so many foreclosures again, what's the craziest a story that you've seen in 2013 around foreclosures?
I think the biggest shock this year was kind of the return of the multiple offer, the bidding wars, the real estate investors, the institutional investors that came into the market in 2012, summer of 2012, really changed the market leading into this year. So I would say that was the biggest shock for me probably at the beginning of the year. We'll talk more about that coming back from the break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ. This show's on every Monday at noon, so I invite you to make this a favorite show of yours. You can get me off air, my website, tampabayradio.com, or my other webpage, tampabayreo.com. Back in a moment. Hi, Jamie Meloni here, your host of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, featured every Thursday at 5 p.m. here on 1250 WHNZ WHNZ. Are you a first-time buyer that is frustrated with trying to find a home in the Tampa Bay region? Have you been looking for months only to be constantly told that home is no longer available or another offer was accepted? If so, I understand your frustration. Buying a home is an emotional and challenging phase of our lives, and today it's made even more difficult due to the low inventory we have in our region. In this challenging market, you have to reach out to industry-leading professionals to help you get the job done. Please take a moment to visit my website at tampabayradio.com or send me a text to 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516, so I can put you in touch with one of my buyer agents that can help you navigate this challenging marketplace. Folks, right now we are at about a 7-year low for inventory in our region. The market has shifted and we are in a seller's market again, and on top of that, there are large real estate investment groups eating up a lot of the inventory as soon as it hits the market. How do you as a buyer compete in this market? There's a lot to know and understand, and again, you need to have an agent on your side that can guide you through this market. My team of buyer agent professionals are educated on what is going on in the marketplace. They understand the importance of getting you not just pre-qualified for a mortgage, but fully approved for a mortgage. They understand how to sell HUD government-owned properties as well as Fannie Mae-owned properties, which make up a lot of the inventory in the region and areas many realtors do not understand or fail to advise their buyers properly on. Again, you've got to reach out to me and my team. We have the knowledge and experience to help you find a home and make it a smooth and enjoyable process. Please reach out to me at tampabayradio.com or my phone, 813-760-8516. Again, 760-8516. Also, if you or someone you know is interested in real estate as an investment, you've got to reach out to me and let us know. I work with 45 different banks and asset management companies selling foreclosed properties, and am well connected to many of the area real estate wholesalers that are also a source of real estate opportunities. I've sold nearly 1,000 homes in the region in the past 7 years and am your source of real estate information in the Tampa Bay marketplace. Again, please visit my website at tampabayradio.com, and you can also get me at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, and via phone, 813-760-8516. Thanks for tuning in.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Are you looking for a deal on a foreclosed property? If so, please stop by my website, tampabayreo.com. My team and I work with 45 different bank and asset management company sellers and have hundreds of foreclosure listings in the area, and we are a HUD and Fannie Mae listing office as well. In addition, get a sneak peek at many of our pre-listed properties in the upcoming REO properties section. Let our experience help you get a deal today. Visit tampabayreo.com.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for staying tuned to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. This show's on every Monday at noon, which is a change from my prior show time, which was Thursdays at 5. So if you're just discovering the show for the first time, I invite you to tune in every Monday at noon. And you can get me off air. My website's tampabayradio.com. That's my show page. And my website for all my listings, tampabayreo.com. And to all the home sellers or potential home sellers out there in the Tampa Bay region, I offer a free home valuation if they text the word value to 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Stella Giudicelli, a real estate agent, also with Coldwell Banker, about myself and the foreclosure markets and what's been going on this year, as well as some of the differences amongst some of the government servicing entities, how buyers can get involved in the lending process and how that works. And you had some other questions for me as well.
Yes, Mr. Meloni, when I was asking you about the craziest story or craziest thing you've seen in 2013, I actually meant, if you have an interesting story for us, something that would entertain us around foreclosures.
Yeah, I would say, doing what I do, it's a different area of real estate. And you asked me that just a moment ago, and I thought, what happened, this year, one of the interesting things. And, one of the, things that makes this job interesting is dealing with the occupants in these properties and, the tenants in the properties. Not always are they the former owners. Sometimes we deal with squatters. Sometimes we deal with tenants in the properties. And, we get put in some interesting situations. Just like, for instance, last month I had a situation where acquired a new listing, went to the property to check the occupancy, and it was occupied. And we really make no real efforts to determine how they got in there or anything. We just need to determine if they are the prior owner or if it's a tenant. And, that's really about all we can really require to get out of them. I mean, we can ask for the lease, things like that, if they're going to exercise their rights under protecting tenants and foreclosures. But this particular person just wanted the relocation assistance money. So they signed an agreement with the lender, and I thought everything was, fine and dandy. And then about a week and a half later, I get a call, and it's the prior owner of the property. And they were livid that this person was in the property. And what ended up happening was it was a squatter that had basically taken possession of this property. And now I had a relocation assistance agreement signed with this individual. And the prior owner had the sheriff showed up, and then they forcibly removed the person from the property. And so now here I'm left hanging with a relocation assistance agreement that requires them to be out by a certain
date. Which is
date.
A financial contribution.
Yeah, okay. And now they were basically out of the property, and then the prior owner moved back in. So now I have to go to the lender and explain, well, we had a tenant in there, and we have an agreement with them. They're not in the property anymore, but we have a contractual agreement with them, and now we've got an owner back in the property. So what do you want to do? So those are the unique, interesting kind of situations that come up in this business, and just kind of you got to make split decisions on the spot, and it's a challenge in the business.
Mm-hmm. 2013 was a good year for real estate for our real estate market in Tampa, and we've seen a good recovery of the market. One of the driving forces for this was the investment groups coming from Wall Street. And Jamie, can you tell me what these groups looking at when they elected Tampa to be a top investment location in the U.S. and what were they then looking at doing?
Basically, they all kind of entered the market at the same time. It's kind of interesting. There was about 5 major investment funds that were backed by different institutional investors, large institutional investors. A lot of it overseas money, and but it was all based around Wall Street investment groups. And basically, the Moody's curve was predicting with regard to housing was predicting, an 8-year return to the peak values of 2006 in our region. And depending on the market, that's going to change depending on when your peak was. And so these investment firms built financial models. And in addition to that, we still have peak rental values in the area. So they saw an opportunity here. We got peak values with rental rates. We've got, strong demand from, potential renters from these properties, from people that are being displaced. And so they, put together groups in the different major metros that they picked, Tampa Bay being one of them. They're also in Miami, Phoenix, Atlanta, Los Angeles, also up in Memphis as well. And so that was the driving factor. They believe that values are going to return to the 2006 level in 8 years as of 2012, so roughly around 2020. And so when you punch all these numbers into their financial model, it gives you a rate of return, a cap rate, or an internal rate of return. And the numbers looked pretty good to them. And so they've set up, groups in these different cities. And that was really the driving factor, was this prediction by Moody's of the return in housing values from their peak in 2006 in as little as 8 years, which would offer them substantial returns if that, in fact, does occur.
I was reading yesterday in the Tampa Business Journal that Forbes.com has identified Tampa as, and I'm going to quote, one of the nation's 20th best metros to invest in single-family real estate in 2014. So this suggests that there's still good investments to be made in Tampa, and are we still in a buyer's market?
Yeah, we're definitely, it's a great place to invest. If you were following the news last week, Florida just overtook New York as one of the most populous states in the the nation. So there's a lot of influx of people moving into this area, and the increased demand from buyers is just going to push these values up more and more in our region. And we've already seen values come down from their highs in 2006 as much as 50% from that time period, and we've probably seen a recovery of about 20 to 25% on average from those declined values at that time. And so that's definitely a great place to invest. We've got great weather, great sports. The Tampa Bay region is a huge metro. When you go into St. Pete and Clearwater, we got beaches, we got sports teams, we got a lot of great amenities to offer in this region. And so, I would definitely would recommend Tampa Bay region to all the buyers out there that are, listening to me from other areas as well. So if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WHNZ, WHNZ. My show's on every Monday at noon, which is a change from my prior show time, which was Thursdays at 5. And if you're listening to me on 970 WFLA this weekend, this is a rebroadcast of that show. So again, I invite you over to my show time every Monday at noon, as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Off air, you can get me at my websites, tampabayradio.com and tampabayreo.com. That's where you'll find all of my listings. And my phone number, 813-760-8516, 760-8516. Thanks a lot, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.